Hi guys, I'm Aaris Savio. Welcome to my channel. Wherever you're watching me, I hope you're having a blessed and beautiful day. Welcome to my hoodoo house. Hi guys, if you are a follower, welcome back. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe to my socials. If you're just visiting, I'm happy to see you. Hope you stay. So, as you know, I'm Aaris Savio. I'm a tarot reader. I'm a hoodoo practitioner, and I do tarot readings. I do psychic readings. I do energy cleanses. I'm a healing mediator. You'll find all of the information regarding my socials in the description box mentioned below or above, wherever you see that. And you'll have a link to my socials there as well, my other socials there as well. With that being said, today I'm coming to you with a range of my products. I hope this works out the way I'm intending to, because apparently this is the third time that I'm sitting to shoot this video. So fingers crossed. Let's see. Okay, so first thing first, real quick, what I want to talk to you guys about is my first incense powder. By the way, these are all of my incense powders. There's a whole line of jars, about 6 more jars lined up ahead post this section. What I'm going to start talking about are the incenses that I am bringing out as part of my product launch that has already in fact started as you're watching this today. What I bring to you is various herbs, spices, incenses, candles, spell kits, kits to invoke certain saints for your work, for whatever you request, and the grace and intercession that you require from the universe. So with all the hope and all the luck and with all the positive energy, let's proceed. So I've got the first incense that I'm going to introduce you. It's I wouldn't really categorize this in the incense blend section. However, because it is combustible, because it gives out pure smoke, I'm going to be talking to you about this in this section of the video. Okay, so the first thing I think I'm going to start off with is one of my favorite tools of cleanse, post Palo Santo, of course, and sage, is my very trusty Vesta. Okay, now Vesta powder is it's a combination of sugar and a couple of other herbs and spices, and there's a chemical that's involved as well out here. This is extremely combustible. When you use this, please use extreme caution. Do not take this lightly. This is a very, very potent cleansing tool that you will use to neutralize the energy that you are in. All right. It's flammable. It's highly flammable, in fact, and you will see that as I show this to you on my what do you call this, wrought iron or iron plate. Okay, just pardon the stains. It's a little bit of an old plate, so it shows signs of usage. The rest of the incenses I'm going to show on my abalone shell that already has a coal burning, but I will need to arrange for a different coal, because I think by the time I get to that coal is going to die off. So I will restart that coal. But let's begin with the Vesta powder. I'm going to show you how much to use. I'm going to show you a short little prayer that I personally use when I do any incense cleansing or any smudging of not only my space but also a space of a client, if I'm doing a house visit or a site visit. I am going to talk to you about the usage of all these herbs, the incenses. I'm also going to talk to you about which incense to use when, and all the information rather that you need. There would be an eternal flame that would be burning, that would represent Goddess Vesta. What we do out here is that we invoke Goddess Vesta through this short little prayer, cleansing prayer, and she's used, rather not used, but invoked to help us on our way for clarity, help us on our way for guidance, and we ask for her grace. okay? In other terms, we honor Mother Earth as well in this, because Vesta powder, when it combusts, the smoke that is generated, understand everything that all these incenses that are used generate smoke that has very specific, that caters to very simply our spiritual needs but our biological needs as well. That just helps us on the path of light and helps us on the path of clarity. With that being said, let's begin. So I'm going to show you exactly how Vesta powder looks like. I'm going to show you, I wish I could show you how things smelt, of course, but unfortunately we are not in that age of technology yet. I will show you each and every instance of how it looks in the jar, how you will, when you receive it, when you hold it in your hand, how it is going to look, and I will also explain the usage, of course, in this entire video. Okay, this is going to be a long video, of course, because I'm going to be talking at length about these products and about what to use when. So even if you do possess these products in your house, you should know when to use these powders. Okay, so with that being said, let's begin. So the first one I'm going to talk to you about is Vesta. Of course, this is how Vesta powder looks like. I'm waiting for the camera to focus. Okay, so Vesta powder looks like this. It's a fine white powdery substance that is blended, of course, with a very traditional mortar and pestle, a stone mortar and pestle, of course, because we use the energy of Mother Earth. We use a lot of grounding energy. There's a lot of prayers that are said when this is ground and when this is sort of made up, okay? And you need to use this very, very sparingly, okay? The reason why Vesta powder is always exchanged, I don't like to use the word sold, because of course we term these things as exchange, where you exchange money and I exchange the product. Sold is something where I am losing the value of or I'm losing the ethical value of a certain product, okay? Pardon the clanking, it's my rings against the glass, so if you're listening to this with your earphones on, and if you're not an ASMR fan, you may not like this, but it's lower the volume. I think that's the best thing that you can do, because these are glass jars. I do not use plastic. I try my level best to not use plastic. The only thing where shipments of products are concerned, a little bit of plastic is used. However, it is environment friendly plastic, of course, that is that can be, you know, sold and reused, and seal pouches, etc. So with that being said, let me give you a quick brief about how Vesta powder is used. What is the difference between using Vesta powder than using sage or Palo Santo? Vesta powder is something that you would need as a 2-second cleanse, okay? Sage and Palo Santo takes its time to burn, takes its time to, you know, cleanse your space and so on and so forth. Vesta powder is a quick combustible 2-second job, depending on how lengthy you want to make your prayer. You can choose to say a prayer, you can choose not to say a prayer, the choice is yours. Let's begin. Okay, so first thing first, I will show you how much of Vesta powder you will use, and then I will show you how to light it and how to just keep yourself safe when you burn Vesta powder. Okay, so how much you need is barely this much of a spoon. Okay, you can use a little bit more. I'm using very little. In fact, I would use a little bit more than this, but I'm a little bit concerned because I'm sitting a tad bit too close to burning Vesta. As I said earlier, it is extremely combustible. This burns, and it's better to be safe than sorry. You can use a little bit more. You can use this amount as well. If you've got a small space, this amount should work just fine. If you've got a larger space, you can burn a little bit more. If you want, what you can do is burn a smaller quantity in every room to negate the energy. The thing that I want you to pay attention to, however, is when you are doing that, when you're cleansing a room by room, you may want to start with the furthest room away from the door, okay? Start with that room, and then come closer to the door, of course. And as you come closer to the door, keep your doors and windows open when you smudge sage. You use Palo Santo, whether you burn just regular incense, whether you buy the incense from me or you buy the incense from out. Always remember this golden rule of thumb. Start from the furthest room in the house or your space and then move to your doorway. Okay, that way what happens is you're removing any negative energy or any stagnant energy. You're pushing it out of the door. If you're inviting positive energy in, like example, if one of my incenses is a good fortune incense that exists, you may want to burn that from the front door towards the back end, to the furthest room of the house. So depending on your concept of your incense, you will follow that method of burning the incense accordingly. All right, so if you're using a blessing incense, you will start with your altar, of course, and then you will go in either direction, doesn't matter. If you're burning a dragon's blood, that is a cleansing agent, you will start from the farthest room and then move towards the main door. If you're burning frankincense, you will repeat the entire thing the other way around. You will first start at the door and then step into the furthest part of the house. Always and always, whenever you do a cleanse, always burn some sort of blessing incense. Okay, say example, if you're burning a Vesta powder, or if you're smudging your place with sage, or you're using Palo Santo, or you're using dragon's blood for that matter, always use a blessing incense like myrrh or frankincense, or any of the incense blends of your choice that imbibe a positive welcome essence to it. Okay, along with banishment, always invite positiveness. You don't want to leave a void open. All right, once you take out your requested amount of Vesta powder, please make do or keep your master packet, in my case the master jar, away from this combusting flame. All right, so keep this away. Let's keep that far away. Okay, let's quickly say a prayer and we will burn the incense. Let's say a prayer for all of the incenses together, so that we not only invite positivity, but I am also able to transmit that positivity, hopefully through my camera lens, right into your heart. So let's begin in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. We pray to Goddess Vesta. We invite her in our space. May her eternal flame burn bright, dispel any darkness, dispel any negativity, and banish anything and everything that does not serve us anymore. Archangel Michael, I call you forth to guard us. Archangel Gabriel, I call you forth to grant us good news. Archangel Raphael, I call you forth to grant us healing. We make this prayer through Almighty God. Amen. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Amen. Okay, once we say our quick little prayer, so you can alter this prayer based off anything or that you would like and however you would like. If you are following the Hindu tradition, you could say a Gayatri mantra, or you could play the Mahamrityunjay, or you could even recite the Mahamrityunjay. You can pray to Goddess Kali for protection. If you are a Muslim, you can of course say the Ayatul Kursi, that will grant you your protection. You can say any psalm you choose. You can say any short little prayer of your choice. It does not need to be specific. Okay, anything of your choice would work just fine. All right, so let's begin. So this is how you will burn Vesta powder. You will alight your flame and take it close to your Vesta powder, and you will leave it. This is how Vesta powder burns. You will notice the white smoke coming up. Okay, this is your cleansing smoke. All right, it has a positive a good fragrance. It smells a little bit like gunpowder essence. After gunpowder burns, you know, the fragrance that gets left behind, it smells a little like that. Okay, if you have anything left behind, you can of course relight it. I've of course used a very minuscule amount of Vesta powder, which is why it burns this way, but it will burn up slowly. Okay, if you do not know the right formula, do not go to make this on your own. It may cause harm. Okay, this is dangerous to make on your own unless and until you are an experienced brewera. Do not try to make this at home. You can use it at your convenience, no doubt. Buy it from a reputed source that you know has, you know, sort of made it with the right energy, has sprayed over it, has negated the fact that it is a chemical ingredient, secondary chemical ingredient, and who knows what they're dealing with. Okay, this is how Vesta powder burns. You've seen the distance that I'm sitting in. Although yes, I do want you to exercise extreme caution. This does not look like it combusts a lot. However, when burnt in large quantities, continue to combust and will leave out sparks and will, you know, cause a splatter of this sort. So if you see the plate, you will see splatters on the side. Do you see these splatters? Okay, this is what happens, which is why you need a little bit of a big plate or a large vessel, or a vessel that is sort of oblong in nature. You could choose to use one of these sort of lighters, or else you could choose to use this sort of a lighter that is large. Okay, the gas is sort of over from this, which is why I have chosen not to use this lighter. But the fuel rather is over from that lighter, which is why I've used my very trusty handy clipper. Okay, sorry about that. So this is how Vesta powder is. This is what Vesta powder looks like. Let's start with the other incenses. Okay, so this is my trusty abalone shell. Hopefully this is focusing. Yes, it is focusing. So what you will see first is salt, of course. Okay, so this is salt. I use salt as a base. You can of course use anything of your choice for that matter. You can choose to use sand, you can choose to use gravel. Okay, I personally choose to use salt because salt is a cleansing agent, and because I deal with a little bit of heavy work where it deals with interacting with certain entities, dispelling possessional entities, etc. I choose to use salt in as all of my incense bases. Okay, so let's begin real quick. Let me first show you the three basic incenses that I am showcasing on my site and on my lists. One of which is called, of course, frankincense. Then we have myrrh, and then we have something called dragon's blood. Okay, so this is how the three look like. So let's begin with frankincense first. Okay, so frankincense in its pure form is available in, they are of course resins, so they are obtained from trees, if you are not aware. All of this, whether that's myrrh, frankincense, dragon's blood, they're all tree resins. They are sap that emits from a tree that is very fragrant, of course. This is frankincense when it's in its most purest form. Okay, frankincense on its own, like this, if you go to burn this will burn and boil and bubble on a piece of coal. Okay, the reason why I choose not to use pieces like this, and I suggest people not to use pieces like this, because if you use this sort of a blend, or you use this as itself, After a while, of course, in the beginning you will get a very good fragrance, but after a while, as it continues to burn, you will notice a burning smell, and as if something is caught fire or something is getting ruined. You know, you get that sort of an odor. It no longer lasts as a fragrance. What I do is I again pound my frankincense in very, very fine powder. This is how my frankincense looks like. Hopefully it can focus so I can show you. Yep, this is how my frankincense looks like. This is how fine the powder is. So I hope you can see it falling. Okay, this is how fine the powder is. It is passed through a sieve, so it is extremely fine. It is clumpy, of course. If moisture gets into any of these incenses, they will clump together. All you can do is just break it apart with your hand and you will see it shattering. Within no time you will find them to square one. Best the powder needs to be kept away from any sort of moisture, no matter where you live or wherever you are. Always seal your pouches and close your bottles back once you're done. Okay, this is how frankincense burns. This is of course not just plain frankincense. This is energized frankincense. This is not only blended or rather ground to a fine powder. This also has various other herbs and spices that are involved in it, that are blended with it, that will enable you to not only magnify whatever you're asking, but will also grant you what you're looking for. Okay, frankincense is a powerful cleanser, but most importantly, frankincense is a herb, or rather a resin, that is used to invoke blessing, any sort of blessing of any choice. Okay, you can use this for any deity. Okay, unlike benzoin, which is loban, what we call, loban cannot be offered to certain deities. Myrrh and frankincense is accepted globally by any and every deity. Okay, so a lot of Hindu Tattva deities do not accept benzoin as an offering, and please do not burn benzoin as an offering to Hindu deities other than Kali, of course. Durga and the other plethora of deities do not much appreciate you burning benzoin, gum benzoin, that is. Okay, with that being said, this is okay, I really dropped the lid, but this is how frankincense burns. This is how frankincense looks like. Okay, it is this fine little powder that you will receive. Let's do away with this bottle. The next one in line, so you saw how long this burnt. I used a very minuscule amount. I used quarter of this spoon. Okay, to give you a comparison, I will show you. What can I show you? I can show you, okay, I can show you my visiting card. So do you see the size of the card versus the size of the spoon? Okay, this is a regular debit card size visiting card. Okay, the spoon is this small. Okay, this is a tea light candle. Look in comparison how big the spoon, or rather how small the spoon really is. Okay, so that's how much you need to use. Okay, the next in line we have is dragon's blood. Dragon's blood in its true form is hard like rock. Okay, okay, this is how dragon's blood looks like. It's hard like stone. This is how it will look in its true form. So yes, it does look like congealed blood, which is why the name dragon's blood. The reason why it was given a name as dragon's blood is because dragons at one time were known as cleansers. Okay, fire is a huge cleanser. All right, it carries an essence of not only destruction but also creation, because if you've noticed fields and crops, when they get stagnant, the farmer will burn the crop down. After he harvests his crop, of course, the rest of the weeds are burnt out. Once they are burnt, that's when the next growth that takes place on that space is very fruitful. Okay, hence dragon's blood. And of course, as you know, dragons, as per the myths go, were fire breathing entities. Okay, This is how the dragon's blood in powder form looks like. This is the jar. Okay, it's deep dark red. There is no color added. This is the color that comes out from the dragon's blood. Of course, it's when I blend my herbs, my incense, of course I like to use other herbs as well. So in my dragon's blood blend, there is also frankincense, there is lemon balm, there is rosemary that's finely ground to a very, very fine powder that is added to this to just enhance the entire, not only the texture of the dragon's blood, but also to enhance the flavor, rather the fragrance of the herb, okay, or the resin. This is how, so this is a little bit of about an hour old coal, okay, which is also part of the range of products. This is how the dragon's blood really burns. Okay, it will continue to smolder in this way. All you can do is use your hand, or you could use a feather, depending on what you're comfortable with. Take it in your hand and smudge your space. Okay, say a prayer of your choice, and all you do is waft the white smoke. You see the white smoke coming up? All you do is you waft this white smoke in all spaces, in every space, every nook, every corner of your energy living space. Okay, frankincense is dragon's blood is used primarily for energy cleansing only. Okay, do not use dragon's blood for any offering to a certain deity. Dragon's blood is primarily used for cleansing of not only your mind, your body, and also your soul. Okay, let's move the coal around a bit and let's break off the old ash. Okay, so this is what's left. Actually, what's smoldering is this small piece of coal that's actually left behind. Let me show it to you. Okay, this is the small piece of coal that's actually left burning. Hopefully I can use it with the rest. A lot of my incenses are self-igniting. Of course, they have a little mixture of Vesta powder in it, so they will tend to burn on their own as well, except for the resins that I've just shown you. This is what myrrh looks like. I don't have a large bottle because my myrrh bottle is a huge bottle, and it won't fit on this table, to be very honest with you. But this is how myrrh looks like. Myrrh as a resin is burnt primarily when you are wanting to invoke, an emotion of love, when you want to promote healing, when you want to promote lust even. Okay, that is when myrrh is used. Okay, the myrrh that you regularly get in a store is very hard. It's a little difficult to manipulate myrrh, but the myrrh that I have is, rather the myrrh that I list on my store, is of course blended with other herbs. It's heated to a certain temperature, to a certain degree, that makes it moldable in normal room temperature as well. So if you see myrrh, my myrrh breaks so easily. Okay, this is how myrrh breaks. I'm not going to put it on this because if I do, this myrrh burns for a very, very long time and I won't be able to show you the other incenses. Okay, but basically this is what myrrh looks like. Hopefully this focus. Okay, this is how, now that you've seen how myrrh looks like, let's move on. What I then have is the protection and cleansing incense. This is the master jar. Now we can breeze through real quick because I have to just show you what incenses are available. They all burn the same way. You just add them on the coal and you're done. There's not much of rocket science to this. My protection and cleansing incense has a blend of not only flowers, it has incenses, it has alum, it has salt, it has a certain amount of what is the other thing called, the pink Himalayan salt, etc. That is used. Of course, there's frankincense in this as well. This is only primarily used for cleansing. Okay, it has a very small minuscule amount of sulfur as well to aid in cleansing. Okay, This you need a coal to burn with. Okay, this will not burn on its own because it's a little too strong. Okay, it also has valerian root in it, so if you burn this at certain times, if you get a piece of valerian, you will get a foul smell for a short couple of minutes. Okay, once the valerian burns out, you will get the positive fragrance all over again. This burns again with a white smoke. I will show you, hopefully this, let me manipulate the coal a little bit. Okay, great. Let's put a little bit of this incense on the thing. So see, I just used a small amount. See how much it smolders. Okay, all of these incenses, the packets are small, of course, because you need to use a very little of it. Okay, even if you burn that incense every day, that one packet should last you for close to 2 weeks. Okay, so this is the protection incense. This is how it looks, protection and cleanse. Okay, we then have something called your attraction and love. Okay, attraction and love is primarily used for, of course, attracting energies, attracting positive energies to you, attracting love in your space. This is how the incense looks like. Okay, it's in powder form, of course. Again, these are hand blended. This is what the label looks like. Your label that you will receive on your package will look exactly the same like this. And you will of course see the pictures there. This is self-igniting, so I'm going to put a very small amount. This is how much I would normally even use. You add it on it and you will notice it sort of sparking up and burning on its own as well. Okay, this is the amount of smoke that you get from such a small piece. Okay, this is all that you need to do. There is no rocket science. You don't need to worry. It will smolder, it will catch a blaze, it will continue to burn on its own. You don't need to do anything about it. If you do find your incense burning this way, all you need to do is just wait for a couple of minutes and just blow it out if it doesn't go out. If it goes out, well and good. If it doesn't, all you do is just smolder. That's it. Okay, all of these incenses are very, very fragrant. Okay, the only incense that's not fragrant is the Vesta powder. Okay, because it has the quality of negating and neutralizing everything. Vesta powder does not have a fragrance of its own. This is the blessing incense that is used during prayer. Okay, before you start your prayers, before you start a ritual of your own, of your calling, sprinkle a little of this incense on a burning coal, or you can even burn this on its own. Okay, and you will see. So I will show you a little bit of this on its own. Okay, this is how the incense looks like. Sorry, I forgot to show you. They even though they look similar, when you get them and when you use them, you will notice that they smell and the fragrance that emits from them is completely different because of the essences, because of the herbs that are ground in them. They will not smell the same. Okay, they will all smell different. This has a lot of positive herbs in it. It has calendula flowers that are blended and ground to a fine powder. It also has bay leaf and allspice that is used as well to not only invite grace and blessing into your space, this will also invite good fortune too. Talking about good fortune, the next, and I think this is my most demanded incense, which is why I made a batch a couple of days ago, and that's why this is full to the brim, is the good fortune incense. This incense is has a lot of cinnamon in it. It has a lot of bay leaf in it. This is how the incense, I'm just trying to loosen it up a bit because I've literally smashed it down to make space in the jar. This is how the incense looks like. Okay, Same process, all you do is take a very small, now you saw the amount that I used, okay, of the previous incense, the blessing incense. This is how much it'll continue to smolder, it will continue to smoke. You can cleanse out an entire space with the smoke in this way, okay. If you find it burning, give it a second, okay, you will find the flame dying out. If the flame doesn't die out, all you need to do is just fan it a little bit and you will notice the flame go out, okay. With good fortune incense, it's the same thing that applies. All you do is you take a small spoon of it, a small little heap of it, place it on a burning ember, or even what you can do is, if you don't have a burning coal, you just place your incense. So I will show you separately as well. So here is where I am going to you know what, let me show it to you on the plate. Let me discard, okay, the Vesta powder is not coming out. Anyway, I will show it to you. This is, so the Vesta powder is separate, this is separate, okay. So if you see, this is how your good fortune incense will keep smoldering. If you don't have a coal and you want to use these incenses, all you do is you take your flame, take it to your incense, just maintain flame for a couple of seconds and then blow out. That's all, and you will see this smoldering too, the same way. Okay, if you have coal, it will continue to burn in a stronger way. If you keep it this way, it will burn on its own the same manner. Okay, you don't need to use a mold, you don't need to use anything specific. All you do is burn it on its own. All right, these are self-igniting, so no hassle, no stress. All you will be left with is a very fine black powder, black soot, which you can either discard, or you could also, if you're using good fortune incense, apply the ash on your doorway, sprinkle the ash on your doorway. Do not throw it in the bin, of course, because you're inviting good fortune. Sprinkle the ash on your doorway. You can use it to not only do that, you can also sprinkle it in your wallet and things like that, and invite the goodness of good fortune in your life. All right, so that brings us to our limited range of incenses that I am releasing to you guys as of now. I am planning to release a lot more. I'm going to keep this burning here so that you can see this burning. I'm going to show you. Okay, I am going to be introducing a lot more of these incenses in the next coming weeks. Of course, I am going to I'm going to check for responses, of course, and then I will be releasing the other incenses as they get ready, and introduce them to you guys as well. And you will very well expect a video explaining on how to use that as well. Okay, stay tuned to watch our next video that will involve a lot more goodies and a lot more of herbs and stuff like that. I will also teach you how to use certain herbs that are even available in your kitchen cabinet to create your own magic. Okay, thank you so much once again for joining in. This is Aaris Savio signing off. Please do find my contact information in the description box below or above, and please do not hesitate to contact for any questions or clarifications. I would love to answer them for you. Okay, follow me on my socials, my Facebook page, my Instagram page. All you got to do is search Aaris Savio and you will find my profiles. All my display pictures are the same. This is my brand image, so you will find all of my images the same way. All you do is you can follow me there and you will stay in the loop. To get updates on my products, send me a message. I will add you to my broadcast list. So before I release my products to on social media, I first release them to the limited broadcast list that I have. Once they get preference, once they are done selecting what they want, the rest of them then come on the site. A lot of them sometimes get sold out by the time it actually reaches the site. So all the very best. Okay, thank you so much for spending these few moments with me. It was an immense pleasure talking to you. I hope you have a beautiful day. Good day.